Hey guys, Tammy here. And in this video, we're going to talk about problem solving in child custody. Now, I'm not going to come at this the typical way that you probably think, which is anyway, I'll explain it as we go. I'm coming at it a little more unique today, not in the direct problem solving realm, but I think this is going to give you a lot of insight. Real quick, if you are just finding my channel or this is your first time being here or you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you get notified as new content is released. Okay, we talk about all about child custody. That's the primary focus, and dealing with narcissists specifically or high conflict people in child custody, learning more about the court and all those types of things. So subscribe to the channel. So I heard a quote today and it really kind of hit me between the eyes in regards to how we look at child custody situations and when we're trying to solve all the myriad of problems that come up with our high conflict ex, right? Our narcissistic ex. So this is not my quote, and unfortunately I can't remember the name of the person that said it, but he said, problems cannot be solved at the same level of consciousness that created them. Okay, I'm gonna read it again. Problems cannot be solved at the same level of consciousness that created them. Let's apply this to the problems that we have with a narcissistic person, okay? When you are at a certain level of consciousness or maturity or whatever, word you want to give that, if you want something less frou-frou, I guess, than consciousness, we can call it maturity, right? Your level of maturity, the level of maturity that you're at, you got with this person and you at least created a baby, right? You might have been married to them. You might have been with them for several years. Maybe they were just a one night drunken mistake. I don't know. But whatever level of maturity you were at in that instance, you got with this person and you created a child, and now this is your situation and this is what you're dealing with. Here's the problem. We're trying to problem solve and we're trying to deal with our child custody issues and our child sharing and all of that at that same level of maturity that we were at when we were in the relationship. And it doesn't work. You have to grow. You have to evolve. You have to personally develop. You have to get a better and higher level of maturity, of consciousness, of understanding to be able to learn how to deal with this person, how to, protect your own well-being, protect your child's well-being. You can't do it at the same level that you were at when you were in this relationship. Part of what happens is we are doing okay and we think we're doing better and we think we're growing and we think we're improving. And then you'll have this interaction with the other person that brings you back to square one. Have you had this happen? I used to go through this all the time with my narcissistic ex where, like I'm away from him, I'm not interacting with him, everything's fine, everything's cool. But as soon as I have some point of disagreement with him, here I am right back on the hamster wheel with the same patterns, the same communication, the same interaction happening. Particularly in the court's eyes, I think this is a problem that we have to solve. And it's emotional. It's emotional. So even though you're growing and maybe developing in other areas, when it comes to your emotional interaction with a significant other, or somebody who was that level of intimacy, you fall back into your old patterns. I've worked with women and men who can have it together in every other area of their life. Like they're successful, they've got a great career, they've got friends, they're fit, their health is good, all these types of things. But when it comes to their relationships, their life is just one ongoing mess after another. And until we develop ourselves enough to reach the level of maturity that we need to handle this type of high conflict X and to be able to problem solve in different ways that don't involve falling back into our old patterns, we're going to continually stay on this track, and it's crazy making, right? It makes you miserable. It is stressful. I have so many people that I talk to that have anxiety and stress and all these different things around interaction with their ex. And you're going to stay on that trajectory until you develop the tools and the techniques and the emotional maturity to be able to rise above what the other person is bringing to the table and disconnect your own emotions from it and be able to deal with it in a more mature way. And that is what maturity is, right? I mean, I'm in my 50s now, and I can tell you that my level of maturity now is way, way different than my level of maturity in my 20s. Some people hit their 50s and their level of maturity is the same, right? Some people end up in their 20s, very high level of maturity, very wise, as wise as I am, right? Most of the time, life has a way of teaching us. So as a general rule, the older we get, the more mature we are. But it's not always necessarily a factor of just age. It's just the fact that as you get older, you have been through more things, right, that bring that maturity. So sometimes people have a lot harder life when they're younger, and they come into their 20s with a different level of maturity than some of the rest of us. We're at different levels of maturity at different stages of our life. And again, you can have levels of maturity in all different areas of your life. Like I said, maybe you're great at career, maybe your health's great, maybe your friendships are great, whatever it is. But obviously, we have work to do and development to do in this specific area of the relationship with the other person, especially if the court is labeling you as high conflict. They're seeing you both as the problem, and you're thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I feel like I'm trying to not be in the emotions and not do all these things. Most of the time, people are not recognizing what is happening. And a lot of times they're relying on friends, family, people close to them to help them kind of sort through that. And frankly, it's hard for your friends and family to do too, because they have some emotional investment because they care about you. They're kind of operating from a certain emotional standpoint as well. So problems cannot be solved in the same level of maturity that created them. So the key to solving your problems is creating a higher level of consciousness or maturity for yourself. Jim Rohn used to say, it doesn't get easier, you get better. And that's what that means. You develop the tools. So the great thing about that is it's not time that's magically going to fix the problem with your narcissistic ex. It's your own skills, development, maturity, techniques, whatever, the things that you're going to learn and you're going to improve in yourself is what is ultimately going to solve these problems. And that's why the coaching can be so powerful. If you'd like to learn more about my coaching services, you can go to divorceuniversityonline.com/VIP-coaching. You can book a free strategy session with me there. And I would love to talk about how I might be able to help you more on this journey. See you next time.
We'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands.